this Dr. Kamini Rao's masterclass. You heard it right. Yes, something new and always something interesting. And I would like to bring to you what's new today. Well, I would like to put across how many of you would remember your very young age as a toddler, as an infant, as a child. And let's see, as a toddler, perhaps you would be looking around, maybe milk, maybe cry, nappy wet, and that's it. And perhaps at the age of 3, you would perhaps be playing around with mother, with a few siblings around you, and perhaps that's all, and maybe at a playgroup. Going a little further, you would be playing a little bit more with the kindergarten children, and that's all. And as you grow more and more, you will be playing with friends and perhaps a little bit more in terms of an education and of course sports and play. But we have somebody who has done this and much more, and I would like to say that this person has achieved a lot from the age of a year and a half to all of 17 years with a single-minded concentration, and she's none other than a water baby. Now, she's been into the water at the age of 1.5 years. Imagine the tender skin, how cold it must have felt. Yet, she braved the cold, shivered a little, but had that bright smile on her face, saying, I'm going to conquer that world. Then at the age of 3, because she gave a break because she fell ill. But did her courage go down? Not at all. She came back into the waters, and so also her parents supported her and said, so what if you fall sick once but still get back into the water, because water was her home. And she went back into the water and she still started working on her swimming classes. And so started the saga of swimming. She went on and on relentlessly. But along with her, there were so many people to support her. Who were they? They were her parents first, then it was her coaches, and not to forget her school, that was her teachers, as well as her principal, who supported her, gave her all the time to be away from class, and also gave her the necessary leave to attend all the competitive game and come back to school and bring the laurels to school. Such was the kind of dedication that this girl had, that she won the hearts of not only the coaches but also the spectators at large. A young girl from Karnataka who's done everyone proud, has done the coaches proud, has done the parents proud, and in fact has done the nation proud. And I would like to present to you none other than Khushi Dinesh. Has been a student to Sophia's High School and is now in the 12th standard and all of 17 years old. Let's go and find out what is special with Khushi that has made her come to this level, not actually compromising her studies nor her sport. This is going to be a motivation on why be ordinary when you can be that extraordinary. That's Khushi for you and will bring Khushi to you in your lives. I guarantee that. Let's go and meet Khushi. Hi Khushi, how are you?
Hello ma'am. Thank you so much for that introduction. It was wonderful and I am really good. How are you doing?
Yes, I will tell you that I had heard a lot from you and I had heard a lot from your parents. Believe me, you've got wonderful parents who support you, because at the age of 1.5, Khushi, they put you into water, that tender skin. And I know you will not know much because you are that young, but the parents' belief in you and the fact that you continue to make them proud is such a moment that the synergies between the two of you was really great. It was magical. And then at 3. So how early in your days that you remember when you get into water that you really like to get into water? Maybe at 3 or 5 or something like that?
So like as my parents tell me, since I was small, even when they put me into the bathtub, I used to love the water. So I used to like swim around, flap my hands and legs. So then, and my dad, he's a state level cricket player. So he always wanted me to be in some kind of sport or the other. And moreover, he wanted me to be in an individual sport. So what happens is in a team sport, it's like teamwork comes into play. But in an individual sport like swimming, it is the individual's hard work that is put into test and their talent. So what happened, like when I was 1.5, there was a pool near my house. So my dad just took me there and they said no, they can't give admission because I was so small. Then my uncle, he came from the US, he got me floaters for my hands, for my legs. And then my dad just told them, just let her get into the pool. We'll take the risk, we'll do whatever is possible, let her just enjoy. So I used to swim for like an hour every day, just like play around in the pool and, you know, just with my friends. And then what happened after like a month or so, I felt really ill. I caught a fever and all that. And then my grandparents started like scolding my dad, you know, like, she's so young, what's wrong with you? You're not supposed to put such young children into the pool. And then again when I was 3, the pool I train in now, it's called Basangudi Aquatic Center. So we joined there and ever since I've been swimming. I've always liked the water and, you know, it's like my happy place. If I'm in the water, I forget about everything that's happening around me. And, you know, all my worries seem to float away. And, you know, this feeling of being floating and, you know, just there is like something I'll treasure for the rest of my life.
So when you said 3 years and then say 4 and 5 and 6, did you not miss being with friends of yours and, you know, going to these regular joints and having all these junk food and things like this? So because, you know, with swimming you have to be very, very, you know, strict about your diet and exercise and yoga. You told me that you did yoga and all these things. How did you manage everything?
So first of all, I have wonderful friends. And I'd like to tell you, in 9th grade, we were supposed to go for an excursion. So what happened, my group of friends, they already paid for the excursion. But then I got the news that I have to travel to the US and I won't be able to join them. So they withdrew, nobody went. Like they're like, either you come and we all go or we won't go. So I've had like such like supportive friends. And you know, they've always encouraged me. As soon as I win a medal, they just get to know somehow and just call me up and wish me. Even their parents are like, they've been so supportive. And even in school, if I miss any of my you know, classwork, they're always there. They call me up every day in the night and they like help me catch up on what's happening. So I have like very wonderful friends. And I think, yeah, I did miss out a lot on my childhood, but I don't repent on anything because like awards that I'm getting, they speak for themselves. So I'm happy with what I'm doing.
So what do you say? No pain,
No
gain
yeah.
is what you were saying. So can you explain that?
Like, you know, you have to give up something in order to achieve something. And once you achieve, like once you get the results, whatever you gave up, like it'll be worth it. You know, like suppose you give up like what I gave up, the results I'm getting now, it is worth it. Like, and you know, my hard work has paid off. So I'm happy with.
So being the only sibling in your house, you're the only child, have you ever missed having brothers and sisters?
No, my dad is like my brother. He's like an elder brother. So like every time on the weekends, we just like, you know, wrestle on the bed, and my mom's actually like so tired of us like playing around, and then we like play pranks on her and all that, and she's really fed up. But then it's just like I have 2 siblings, my mom and dad.
Yeah, wow, that's really great. So because as you start growing older, they become more friends rather than, you know, be judgmental and be a father-mother figure. And I think that's very important, particularly for a girl child. And I'm very happy to note that you say that the father is more closer to you than the mother. and it doesn't happen that often. But the father has been behind you, taking you for all the games, etc. So he must be really interested in your sport, isn't it?
So he, like when he was small, he had a lot of dreams. He wanted to achieve a lot in sports, but he didn't receive the right kind of support, and financially my dad wasn't that good when he was like young. So he always tells me, like, you know, he wants me to achieve what he couldn't achieve. So he wants to see the success through my eyes. So I'll always, like, you know, his words have always been inspirational to me, and every time before my race, these words I'll never forget. So every time he says, I don't care what the results are, I just want you to go out there and enjoy yourself, and that's what's important to me. And that has played a major role in the way I swim in competitions and the way my performance has been.
But that's not the only person that has really influenced you. Your grandfather has been a great influence on you. And mind you, even though you were out at a competition in Belgaum and he was really sick, before you left for that competition, he put his hand on your head and said, do well. So can you explain that incident?
In 2016 of December, my granddad got colon cancer. So, and by the time we like got to know, he was in the 4th stage and there was no going back, there was nothing we can do. But then, like, my dad and my uncle, they didn't tell me and my mom, because like we were so attached to my granddad. He's been a huge inspiration, and also he's a national awardee for science and teaching. So I had this competition called the South Zone. So we had to leave during that time, and he was in the hospital. We went to visit him, and he was like, he wasn't even conscious. He didn't know what he was speaking. He was like too delirious and stuff. Then he recognized me at that moment, and he's like, I told him, I'm like, Tata, I'm going out for a competition like this. He's like, very good, chanak swim madu. And then he blessed me. So, and then like I went for the competition, and the day the competition started at 4 o'clock in the morning, he passed away. So then my dad got the news, but he didn't tell me, because it was my granddad's last wish that I break the record in that competition. So then like the day started off as like normally it would, and then I swam the race and I broke the record. Then yeah, then I got the news, and then like we had to rush back to Bangalore from Belgaum. And you know, like it was so devastating, because like I knew he was delirious, and you know, there were so many things I could have said to him before, like how much I loved him and how much he actually means to me, but I couldn't say all that, and it's something I still repent.
Do you always feel that I could have done this, I could have done that, and when they're actually there, you've not actually spent enough time? And that happens to everybody. But I think what you have done now is what you could not have told him during his life, you're showing it in your sport. That is determination. So when you started your sport and you're going, what is the single determination that actually keeps you going from one competition to the next competition?
So like I have huge goals, and my main goal is the 2020 Olympics that was supposed to happen this year, but it's going to happen next year. So like, you know, in Indian swimming, like we are really very far behind. Like, you know, no Indian has made it to the semi-finals also yet. So I want to be the first Indian to make it to the finals and win a medal and make my country proud and my granddad proud.
Way up in heaven.
Yes.
Excellent, yes. But for that you'll have to be swimming a lot, and perhaps during the time of the lockdown, you know, that period of 3 months must have really put you down. Or was it a time of family bonding? So on one side there was a bit of frustration, so to overcome the frustration there was also family bonding. So do you say that in a way it was good and bad, opportunities as well as, you know, threats?
So like the first 2 or 3 months of the lockdown, I was frustrated because this is my last year in the age group of swimming. So I had big plans for this year. I wanted to break records and, you know, make it to the Olympic qualifying and go to the Olympics. But then the lockdown hit and it was frustrating, and, you know, like I was almost like, I was so depressed. But then, like, you know, my dad and mom came over, they took over. So we bonded like so well as a family. Like if the lockdown wasn't there, we never used to have dinner together, you know. I used to come back late from training and my dad used to come back late from work. But then we got a chance to sit around the table, share memories, and share what happened throughout the day. And also, we used to play chess together and cards, and we like bonded so well. And now we know each other like much better than we knew each other before the lockdown, and they understand what I'm going through. So the lockdown has helped me in a way.
So during this time with the lockdown, and then you started getting back into this thing, to swimming, it must have felt really good, getting and hearing that splash of water and getting into the pool. So all the regulars were able to get into the pool perhaps in October, I guess, and you were able to swim. Having done that, obviously your energy levels had to be sort of built in. So your diet would have to be special. So you couldn't have eaten junk food during lockdown. You'd had to maintain your diet and your exercise, obviously yoga, and the gymming and all that sort of thing. So how did you manage that during the lockdown?
So during the lockdown, we used to have online training, like on Zoom. The coach comes over and he prescribes exercises, and all of us do it at our homes. So that also helped. And I used to our family used to go out for walks in the morning, and we had a goal of completing 10,000 steps per day. So we used to do that, and I maintained my weight and my endurance, so I'd be all set by the time the practice begins.
Oh, that's great. And at the same time, did your father also join you in this gymming and this online exercises, or was it only you locking the door and then trying to do it?
So my mom and dad, they used to go hide behind in a corner and listen to the workout, and they used to do it while I used to stand in front of the camera and do it.
Okay, that. I think your mother also would have wanted to do it, perhaps, because that's good for everyone in the family, especially these online kind of things. What about your diet?
I have a nutritionist. Her name is Shona Prabhu. So she prescribes me a diet. So what happens is, every day of the week, every hour, I have to keep eating something to substitute the calories that I burn throughout swimming. So I have instead of 3 meals, I have around 7 meals that spread out, and little food throughout the day. So, and no junk food obviously, and no chocolates. It's been so long since I ate chocolates and all that, but it's worth it.
So you don't crave for it?
It's been so long since I ate them, so I don't I've forgotten how it tastes also, but.
Good. And that's a lot of control that you have within yourself for a girl of only 17. I think that, how does your friends take it when they all go and have an ice cream and then you just sit and watch them, is it?
They don't mind, they've been used to it. In fact, even they're trying to, when I go to school, even they're trying to have a more healthier diet.
So I think, if we look at your diet and your exercise and the thing, so you've led a really disciplined life. Isn't that the message you must give the youth of today? Because the youth of today, the heat and eat kind of food and the junk food, they think it's the style icon kind of a thing. Open a Coke bottle and all these kind of things. But don't you think that is a message you should give to them, that is not the style, and what really is important is good nutritious diet? And the way you've maintained yourself, it's not that you have to be thin and a size 0 or something, but your diet has to be good and the exercise. In fact, a person having 7 meals is still as thin as you, which is really good. So it depends on what is in that meal, and that's the thing. So what is your advice to the youth of today as far as the diet and exercise?
So we know what junk food does to us. We know the negative effects that it puts on our body, and we've heard, you can Google up and you see what it's done to so many people. People are so obese right now, and obesity can be a big issue. So when we know what the negative effects are, why do we have to, eat junk food? Mother's cooking is the best, mom's food is the best. When your mom is ready to cook such delicious things for you, why do you have to go outside and eat, such monotonous food? So, it's up to you. You should make the choice. Either you stay healthy and live a long life, or you eat junk food and, shorten your lifespan.
Okay. Khushi, you've given a wonderful message to them that mothers will do the cooking, but I would also like to add that fathers can also do cooking. So, Khushi, I just want to know, we've talked about your early childhood, and then we've talked about some diet and lockdown and things like that. Now let's go on to your competition. So you've gone through many competitions. So there are certain things that you take to prepare for a competition, okay? Whether it's a state competition or a national competition, how do you prepare for an average competition? Say, for example, a state competition. How do you prepare for the competition? Mentally, physically, diet-wise. So how's the motivation that's coming in you? How do you edge yourself so that the audience can get also an insight into it?
So like every time a competition is coming close, my schedule will be like this. In the morning I get up at 4:30 and then like I get ready. I need to be in the pool by 5:30. So 5:30 to 8:30 we have a swimming class, and then I come back home. I rest for like half an hour and then I go to the gym by 9:30. Then 9:30 to 11:30 I'm in the gym, I work out, and then I come back home. Then I sleep for some time. Then I get up and then I have a yoga sir. His name is Munraju sir. He comes home. So he comes home and then I have a yoga session for like 1 hour. It'll be either before swimming or after swimming. Then again I go to the swimming class and then I swim from 5 to 8 again, and then I come back home and I sleep. So like this, my schedule is like, you know, pretty tight. And like
When is the lunch?
the lunch is like usually in the car, you know, my mom packs up the lunch, or I come back home and I have lunch like anytime there's
What
time.
does the lunch consist of?
Again, it's like what my nutritionist she prescribes. So it's usually, I like South Indian food, like because I'm South Indian. So it's like, you know, a nice chicken curry or, you know, prawns curry, or with some protein and some salad and buttermilk and all that.
Good. So but the thing is that you do yoga after breakfast?
No, I do it in the evenings.
Okay, it's in the evening. Okay, so this is the kind of routine you have. How many days before your event?
So like in Karnataka, the series of events starts like this. So first we have the junior and senior state meet. So whoever comes first and second, we qualify for the nationals. So in the nationals, whoever comes first and second, if there are internationals, the SFI, that's the Swimming Federation of India, if our performance is good and our timings is good, they select us for this competition and they inform us. So usually this international competition, it will be around like a month or so from the nationals, and we get time to prepare. So like 2 months before the state meet, this is how my schedule is, and it continues until
Till what? Till Christmas?
yeah. until January, until like the competitions get over.
Shankranti.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So that means that you're continuously swimming. So one competition, so from one pool into the next pool.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you travel in all these situations? You travel with your parents, or you travel with a contingent of people with you?
So like for internationals, usually we travel as Team India together. We have a coach, we have a manager, and we have the swimmers who travel together. But my parents, they like never let me travel alone anywhere. So like since I follow a strict diet, my mom, she has like a suitcase filled with, you know, our travel vessels and an induction stove. And everywhere we go, like, you know, the masalas, the vegetables, the fruits, everything is in that. So it's like it comes with us everywhere. So like everywhere we go, she cooks in the hotel room, and then, you know, for me, so that I don't like deviate from my diet.
That's very good. So you're really lucky. In fact, that is what I call as 5-star luxury. Yeah, not staying in a 5-star hotel. Yeah. Because if you are looking after your stomach, then everything else gets looked after. You won't have that kind of stomach belly syndrome like Delhi belly that they say, because it's very difficult. Sometimes the food outside can actually upset you very badly, and it can affect your performance as well. However, once you do this, and on the day of the performance, how do you motivate yourself?
Before the event, I do a lot of visualization. I visualize my race from the time I'm on the block. I start off, and every turn, every stroke, I visualize like where I'm supposed to be at what time. And I listen to like motivational songs. I listen to a lot of music. So I listen to a lot of songs, and my dad keeps talking to me, like as I told you, he keeps telling me enjoy your race, the results don't matter. And my gym coach, his name is Mr. Declan, so he's one of the best in the country. So even he's trained so many athletes, he knows how, like since I've been with him for such a long time, he knows how my mind works. So he keeps giving me inspirational speeches like every time before the meet, and that's helped a lot.
Well, I think he is not the only coach, so you've had your national coach. To what extent do these coaches play in your kind of motivation as well as your performance? How do these coaches help you?
So our national coach, his name is Pradeep sir. So he is one of the best in India. So he was in our pool like 2 years ago. Now he's moved to Dubai, and we miss him a lot. We want him to come back. So ever since in our pool we have like the senior batch. The senior batch is where he coaches. So to go to it's like a promotion to go into his batch. So once we go there, I was overweight during that time. So in 2 months he made me lose 5 kilos just with workout. So he used to make me run 100 rounds around the pool, like around the 50-meter pool. He used to make me skip for an hour and then daily. And he used to regulate my diet and make me go completely off rice. And I was living on chapatis and sports bars for 2 months, and I reduced 5 kilos. And then now our head coach, his name is Padmanabh sir, and then I train under our assistant head coach called John sir, and there's Rajiv sir, Prakash sir, Venkatesh sir, Manoj sir, Rajesh sir, all of them. Since I started swimming, since I was a toddler, they've always been there. They help me regulate my strokes, and every time I go wrong, they're there, and they make me swim with the boys so that I get pacing. So, and they always tell me, they're you will do it, you can do it, and you must do it. So,
well, that's good. They've given you all the degrees as well, can, should, could, everything, which is good. The English language is so beautiful, it gives you those kind of degrees as well. But more importantly, with all this breaststroke and backstroke, etc., you didn't get any pain in your shoulders and all that?
Yeah, the credit goes to my strength and conditioning coach, Mr. Declan, and my yoga coach, Mr. Munraju sir. So Mr. Declan, he's one of the best in the world. So he's always kept me injury free. And even in yoga, every time I come back after a long, tiring day of workout, I just relax. And he, my coach, he knows certain exercises that helps me to relax my joints and, have a good night's sleep. So I think that has helped me and stay injury free.
So when you actually go to the race, and then say for example, you win the race or you're selected, what is the feeling like?
Once I win the race, I just feel all my hard work was worth it. All my sacrifices, my parents' sacrifices, everything was worth it. And I just feel I'm over the moon. But I also know I have a lot to achieve, and I can't just stop here. The Olympics is my goal, and I have to get there.
So it's good. Every small success is a stepping stone to the next level. So more importantly, rather than rest on your laurels, you think that these kind of things, victories, edge you on. Have you had failures, and has those failures actually put you back and said, oh God, fed up, I'm not going to go anymore? Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, so when my granddad passed away, as I told you, he was a huge inspiration. And I was there was so much I could have told him and all that, and I was very sad. I was almost depressed. So for 2 weeks I didn't go to the pool. I didn't want to do anything. I just slept on my bed and just cried. And then one day in the night I had a dream of what he told me, just played a flashback. How he used to encourage me, and what his dreams were for me, to see me at the Olympics and on the podium. So then that just hit my mind, and I'm no, there are so many people who want to watch me be there, and their sacrifices, they're sacrificing so much just for me. So I need to get there, and I can't just let down all these people. And then I that was one of my lows, but then I got back stronger and faster.
But do you think, Khushi, that it's not only your grandfather, the whole of India will be watching? In fact, all your classmates are going to be watching. Everyone who's going to be seeing this show will also be watching. So you're not alone. I think you're going to be an inspiration to so many, not only youngsters, young or old is only a state of the mind. And I think it's never too late to learn, and it's never too young to learn. And you've proved it well, because at 1.5 getting into the pool, and there are many people even at whatever age that they've actually taken up, may not be swimming, maybe something else, but they've done a wonderful job at it. So I think we should be looking at it that even though you've had failures, I mean, you've still stuck at it, even when you came 16th, for example, and you didn't qualify. But you did much better than many contemporary Indians of your age, or of in that particular group, or in that age group. So I feel that you bettered the records, which is also one step further. And that is how I look at it. You have to see that Rome was never built in a day. So step by step, brick by brick, you're trying to put these things together. And it is this single-minded concentration that's going to see you through. And with you, you take a whole generation of youth with you, students, or whether they're all youngsters with you, and they may be not necessarily swimmers, but in their own fields, to say that if you can do it, then we can do it. And that is the message that has to get across to the thing. So you told me while we were talking earlier that even though you did not win, you still kept at it, and your father really gave you the right words: just go and enjoy. And when you enjoy it without being really stressed out, because I see many parents go on telling their children, get the first rank, as if to say there's no other rank other than the first rank. So I feel that the stress that parents put on children, and you didn't have it, so that added a lot of goodies to your basket. So coaches give you some kind of support, your competitors also give you support, as well as your teachers and parents. Now when you get into international sport, perhaps you will have a lot of people from all other nations as well. Did you face any racist kind of comments, or did you face that obviously the Caucasian race will be well built, and you're a little bit more on from the Asian continent, so perhaps they would be more than 6 feet or something like that. Did that intimidate you?
Yeah, so this instant at the World Junior Championships in 2017, it was held in Indianapolis, US. So I was 14, I was like probably one of the youngest. So the first day I go there, I look at, the Russians and the US people. They're like, even the girls, the minimum height for them is 6 feet, and I'm just like 5'6". I look like a small baby in front of them. And they're like, their arms are so long, they're so well built, and they're so muscular. That actually intimidated me. Our SFI president, his name is Nana Vateso, he came and he had a little talk with me. He said, will they ever come into your lane and stop you? I said, no sir. Then why are you worrying about it? It's your lane, it's your talent, you've put in the hard work and it will be shown. It's not like they'll come and stop you while swimming, so why are you getting intimidated by them? And that really opened up my mind, it broadened my thing. And I swam well, and then I came 16th rank. So that was a record, because no one Indian until now has come close to the 30th rank at least. 30th is the maximum. And I came 16th rank, so with 109 countries around. So that was a huge record for me. And about the racism part, I think the world now is more open. And I didn't face any kind of racism or anything like that. But in fact, after I finished my race, my other fellow competitors, they came and hugged me and they said, well done, you did really well. So that left a mark for me. It made a huge impact. And then since I'm heading towards the senior category, I make it a point to wish the youngsters and motivate them, because what my seniors did to me, it motivated me so much. I want that for the youngsters who are coming up too. So I just make it a point to like wish them.
So that's very nice, because this is something which I want everybody to know, that you pass this good qualities down to your juniors. It means a lot, Khushi, that they get that pat on the back from you and they say you're doing well, and then they say, oh, Khushi herself is telling me. That's a motivation, and I find that that's the good quality. And if somebody else has done it to you and you pass it on, the chain should never break, and that's lovely. Now, you're from Sophia High School. Now, obviously, Sophia High School must have really supported you. How do you manage studies with sports? How often do you go to school? Because obviously these games keep coming and your preparations also are there. So how many days a week do you go to school?
When the competitions are coming close, like I have to prepare a lot, so I don't like go to school for like weeks together. But still, like the teachers in my school, they're so supportive. They're willing to stay back and like explain the concepts. And even my friends, they like keep me updated on what's happening in school, and then the classwork, homework, they keep me updated. And even my principal, her name is Sister Alpana, so she's a sports lover, so she loves sports and what's happening in the world right now. So she like grants me leave during competitions, and she makes the whole school pray for me in the assembly, which is like a very special moment for me. Like before I leave, she calls all the sisters in the convent and they all like bless me, which is like a wonderful moment for me.
So does the school support you in any other way? Like, for example, conducting special exams for you, because you'll perhaps miss the exams on the days that they are conducted. Do you find that?
Yeah, so like in case I miss the exams, they conduct the exams specially for me. And even when I miss my lab, since I'm doing science now, I like most of the time I miss my lab when I'm doing it with the class. So the teachers stay back and they help me out with the lab, and then like a few of my friends come in and they help me with the experiments and all that.
2 or 3 years ago, Khushi, Star Sports actually felicitated you in school, and the school supported you. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so like since our PM Narendra Modi came into power, like he's been conducting the Khelo India Games. So it was the first year that they conducted the Khelo India Games, and I got 3 gold medals. So the Star Sports, like on Women's Day, they like felicitated a few girls all over India, and I was like one of them. So what happened is on that day, they like in school they had like during assembly there was a huge stage, and it was all so grand, and like in an open jeep they like got me from the corner of the road to the school. And during that day, the rest of the school had exams going on, but then our principal, she still gave permission to like conduct the exams later. And then they like they made me speak on the stage, and our principal told like how I'm motivating the other girls, and it was a really special day for me, like one I'll never
So what did you
forget
say on that day on the stage?
So I like to tell this to the viewers as well. Like everyone has a talent in them. Like it can be anything from dancing to singing to writing to swimming. Yeah, any sport, anything. So we all are talented individuals, and it's never too late to start. You can be 10 years old, you can be 50 years old, but you have the talent, and if you put your mind into it and if you focus and motivate yourself, you can do it and you will do it. So all the best.
Now that's very good. That was a motivational speech. But going back again to your competitive games, the swimming actually exercises all the muscles. Okay, and it's isometric because that weightlessness is there in the body. So you don't have all these, even people who have arthritis and all that, they actually suggest swimming. So are there any tips and tricks to remain afloat, and are there any tips for you to do breaststroke or backstroke and keep yourself floating flat, not just go sit down?
So the first trick is proper warm-up. So like it can be on land or anywhere, it can just be swinging your hands, rotating your neck, your legs, like just moving around, so your body is thoroughly warmed up before you jump into the cold water. So in case you don't warm up well and you jump in, there are chances of getting cramps and catches. So you're like supposed to warm up really well before you get into the pool. And the other trick is like if you're just starting to swim, don't eat 2 hours before you go into the pool. At least eat 2 to 3 hours before you get into the pool, because like if you're just starting to swim, since you're like sleeping on your stomach while swimming, it can like come out and you can like puke. So don't do that. And like if you're just starting to swim, start with like easy freestyle and backstroke, and always like don't go to the deep end just in case, and like like have a coach or a lifeguard close by.
Yeah. And the other thing that I've noticed is many times, people use these floaters and these tubes and things like that to swim. Do you really suggest that that is important? Because sometimes they get so addicted to it and they take a longer time to swim. So what is it that you would say? Are these adjuncts that you have really worth it? Those flappers on the leg and things like that, are they really worth it? Because many people buy it and they hardly ever use it after that.
Yeah, so like for competitive swimming, the flappers that you said, they're called fins. So they help like for competitive swimmers, but as like beginners, I don't think it's necessary. And until and unless you're going to the deep end of the pool, you don't need floaters, because in the shallow end you can walk. So in case you get tired while swimming, if you put your legs down, you can reach the floor. So I don't think like floaters are necessary. Like floaters are usually like for kids and for like small infants, so it's not necessary.
Not necessary. So don't waste money on that.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay, so that's a very important thing that you've mentioned to these people, because many of them will say, look, don't waste on these things, just concentrate on your sports. And you've also told them about the motivational thing, that everyone has that little extraordinary in them. So just look within you and make sure, don't be ordinary, be extraordinary, and that extraordinary Khushi is within you. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the gold medals and the awards that you have actually accumulated. There are quite a lot of them. So if we were to just count in order and we are able to assign in chronological order, Khushi, can you just let us know what were there? I know of Eklavya Award because many of the people here in India are very aware of it, because that's given for sports. Eklavya was that person who actually cut off his thumb also. So I think only those people who can really do well, the Eklavya Award is actually given to them. So can you tell us about your awards?
Yeah, in 2014, I got the Kempe Gowda Award. So, as you know, Kempe Gowda was the founder of our city, Bangalore. So, it's given to like people who excel in different fields. And I was the youngest ever to receive the award. I received it when I was 10 years old. And then there's the Mayor's Award that I received last year. It's given by the Bangalore Mayor to, again, people who excel in different fields. And recently, I got the Eklavya Award, which was like very memorable for me, because I shared the stage with such wonderful sportsmen from all over Karnataka, and I was like truly honored to share the stage with the CM as well. So that was again very memorable.
Excellent. What about the South Asian Games and the 8 gold medals that you got?
Yes.
The viewers would like to know.
So in 2016, there was the South Asian Aquatic Championships, that's called the SAC Games. It was held in Sri Lanka, Colombo. And I won 8 golds, and I think I was the only swimmer to win 8 golds there. So it was memorable too.
That is really good. Okay, so when you came back, obviously you had a very good reception from our state federation, sports federation, or did they not this thing?
Not actually, because I think during that time there was like an elections or something going on, so
okay,
they were
so
a
that was
little
some
caught up
problem
with that.
at that time.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I'm sure our viewers will know that you've done a lot and you've made Karnataka and India proud, and you're definitely going to put a stamp of India on the world map. And your aim is the Olympics, and I'm sure Olympics will be yours for the asking. With this kind of training and this kind of discipline, and with such supportive coaches and supportive parents and the entire India behind you, I think there's nothing but success and more success. This is what I would wish, and so also all our viewers today.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay. Dear viewers, Khushi Dinesh has really made you Khushi today because not only of her achievements but of her discipline and also the dedication that she's put in it. She truly epitomizes the fact that don't be ordinary, be extraordinary, and that little extra is within you. And therefore, that is the motivational speech that she even gave on her school stage. So, what are you all waiting for? I'm sure you would have learned something from her. So, in your own fields, dear friends, take this message back and do this. And as I would say, that don't wait, time and tide waits for nobody. Anything you want to do it now. That's masterclass for you, Dr. Kamini Rao's masterclass. That's my masterclass for you. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sudarshan Ballal, Chairman, Manipal Hospitals and a nephrologist at heart. It was wonderful to be with Dr. Kamini Rao at her masterclass. This is something very unique. I have known Dr. Rao for decades, but I didn't know this aspect of her. This is a class that brings out the best in the best of people, and I've learned so many new things about her, about this program. Please do watch this program because it will be very useful to you. All the very best.